Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are roasting pumpkin seeds and putting together our pumpkin puree for those Thanksgiving treats. Hey guys, it's your girl Kiki Soto here. Welcome back to Urban Girl Gardening. Try it. Alright, the first thing that you gotta do is scoop. So, you're literally just gonna take a metal spoon and just scoop the insides of your pumpkin. Look at all those beautiful seeds. I'm just gonna take the insides, take the guts and the seeds, get all the stringiness out. Yes, baby, exactly that. I just love doing videos with the little babyzilla singing in the background. I'm just going to scoop all of this out. And put everything right in the bowl. I'm also going to preheat my oven to 400 because we want to roast the pumpkin. We got 1/2 clean. On to the next one. Really, really simple. So we are just a few days out from 2020 Thanksgiving experience. I know everything looks different this year. Quarantine, smaller groups of families getting together, some families not being able to travel to see each other because of restrictions. But there's always something to be grateful for. There's always a blessing around the corner. And that's what we have to remember. So we are going to continue living in bliss and gratitude and appreciating the moments that we do have. And one of the things I appreciate doing is cooking and creating meals with natural food sources. This beautiful pumpkin was gifted to me. I don't have the space, or I didn't. I might make the space next spring to grow pumpkins and squash and stuff like that, but I'm so grateful for this. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie, but my kids are. I'm a sweet potato pie girl, but my kids love it, so I'm gonna do this for them. Alright, so next we're gonna move our guts, seeds, pumpkin insides. We're going to move those to the side. I have a pretty large pan here, sheet, and I am just going to spray it with some cooking spray just so the pumpkin does not stick. You don't have to spray. You can use parchment or you can use foil, but I just chose to spray it down. So I'm going to cut these in half and see if I can get them to fit. Okay, so I ended up needing 2 pans anyway, so cut them in quarters, 2 sides on each, sprayed both pans with some olive oil nonstick coating spray, and these are going to go into the oven. They're going to roast at 400 for about a half an hour. Okay, now this next part might seem a little tedious, but we have our insides here with our seeds, and we are going to separate the stringy flesh from the seeds. And it's a little messy, but that's okay. They seem to come off pretty easy. There's some of the seeds. And you're just going to throw them in a colander, and I have my food scrap bowl here for the guts because nothing gets wasted. That is going into the compost. And as you guys can see, the seeds come off pretty easily. Like, they're literally just sliding off right into my hand. Boop. I am tempted to save some of these seeds to grow, and knowing me, I'm probably going to do that anyway. So if you wanted to save your seeds, you would still do this. Separate them from the flesh, throw it in a colander or a bowl that you can just rinse them in and strain the water easily. And then you would take the seeds that you want to save for the next growing season and just dry them out. Spread them out on a paper towel, paper plate. Actually, what I think works the best is a paper bag. Paper bag dries very well, and unlike a paper towel, the seeds don't stick and pull up little paper towel pieces as well. So that's my preference. Alright, we got our seeds all out. Next thing we're going to do is give them a good rinse. Kind of just want to get all the excess pumpkin off of there. Get some of that slime, you know, that outer jelly-like coating. Get that off. Okay, so our seeds are nice and clean and rinsed. Now I am just going to spread them over a towel. No, we don't want that one. That's not going to be good. I'm going to spread them, and I'm just going to blot them. Get some of that excess water out. I prefer to use a towel, and I would recommend that you do too. If you use a paper towel, the pumpkins will stick. And we don't want that. We don't want all that extra work. We got things to do. We are blotted. They're not completely dry. Some people will leave these out and let them start drying all night long before they roast them. But we are going to speed up the process. I have another cookie sheet here. I'm going to spray it with some more of my olive oil spray. And then I'm going to take these seeds and I'm going to spread them across. And our pumpkins are still in the oven, still roasting. So while that's going, we're going to let these sit. And then when the pumpkins come out of the oven, we're going to lower our temperature from 400 to 300. And we're going to roast these in the oven for about a half an hour to dry them out. And I think, I don't don't know, Keisha, do you want to do it? Do you want to save some of these pumpkin seeds? Will you make the space? You know what? One more handful and then... Okay, 2 more, because we really do love pumpkin seeds. Okay, so the rest of these seeds here, I am going to dry out. I'm going to lay them out on a paper bag, brown paper bag, and I'm going to save these guys. So when our pumpkins come out, we're going to turn the oven down to 300 and we're going to throw these in for a half an hour to start drying them out. So check this out, guys. One of the seeds actually started to sprout. And that's what was going on inside of the pumpkin. So I have no doubt that those other seeds are viable. Okay, so our pumpkins are out of the oven, and these actually took about 45 minutes. And halfway through, guys, I want you to alternate the positioning of the pumpkins in the oven, because you know things tend to cook faster at the top, closer to the light, and we want to make sure that they cook evenly and at the same time. So about 20 minutes through, you're gonna rotate your pans. But these came out looking really good. And you know they're done when you just poke a knife right through. See how easy that was? Okay, and then you see the skin easily peeling back. That's what you want to see. Now we are going to let these cool off. And while it's cooling off, look at that, it's beautiful. While it's cooling off, we're going to lower the temperature on our oven to 300 because we are getting ready to throw in those pumpkin seeds. Okay, our oven is down to 300. We're going to put our seeds in the oven for half an hour to dry them out. And then when they come out, we're going to season them up, pop them back in, and they'll be good to go. So I just realized I forgot to tell you guys what kind of pumpkin that I'm actually using. This is called a Dickinson pumpkin. It's a larger variety. They can get about as big as a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, but they have lots and lots of flesh. It's actually the kind that Libby's, the can company, Libby's, it's actually one of their varieties that they use, that they grow and use to make their pumpkin puree. Now, you can use most pumpkin varieties to make your pumpkin pies, pumpkin purees, whatever you plan on cooking. I chose this one because I wanted something a little different, and I wanted a lot more puree. And as you can see, it's a nice thick flesh here. The smaller pumpkins, you'll probably get enough for one pie or something like that. One large pie, maybe with some puree left over. But I plan on freezing mine. And your puree, you can keep it refrigerated for 2 weeks. You can freeze it for a few months. I want to say 4 months. And it'll still be fine. Still be good to go. So I'm just taking the skin off. I would suggest that if you're a novice to cooking or baking, that you let this cool completely. But I don't have a problem with high heat situations, so I'm just gonna cut this right off. I am not a very patient person, says the gardener, baker, mother of 5. So I want to get this over with and get this flesh cooling real good so that I can clean up and continue on with this process, because we are busy, honey. We got things to do. Alright, so I've got the skin peeled off my pumpkins, and look at this, guys. Look how much flesh I got off of that one large pumpkin. Remember, that was a Dickinson's pumpkin. It's not orange, like the kind you would go and look for your sugar pumpkins or pie pumpkin labels that you'll see. You would have a better chance going to a market to find these. As for Dickinson's pumpkins, they are sweet, but not too sweet. Lots of flesh to work with. Whether you're making a puree, you're cooking it like a squash, or whatever you want to do with it. And the flesh is a light beige color, between a butternut squash and a brown paper bag. Well, actually, you're closer to the brown paper bag, but that's the color. And I promise you guys, you won't be disappointed. I mean, look at this. Puree for days. So I'm going to continue to let this cool. We got our pumpkin seeds still roasting. Let this cool down, and then we'll start pureeing. Okay, our seeds are out of the oven. The next thing we're going to do is drizzle with a little olive oil. You can use any oil of your choice. That was the drying process. Now we're going to flavor these bad boys up. I am going to be using my very own sweet heat blend that I created. This is dehydrated cherry tomatoes, the Candyland variety, dehydrated banana peppers, dehydrated hot cherry peppers, a little bit of garlic, and I want to say I also use some dehydrated green peppers in this. I know I use several kinds of peppers. Oh, not green peppers, jalapeno peppers. So this is our sweet heat blend, and my daughter absolutely loves it. She puts it on everything. You can flavor these up, your seeds up any way you want. You could do garlic powder and Parmesan. You could do a dried barbecue powder. You can just do salt and pepper. You could toss in some vinegar and salt and do a salt and vinegar kind. But I'm going to season these up with my sweet heat. And I'm just going to add a little bit of salt here. And I'm going to take my rubber spatula, spread this all around, get the oil nice and coated over these seeds. Oh, it already smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. But yes, the flavoring combinations are endless. You could be creative and just throw in whatever you feel like using. They're going back in. And in 20 minutes, they'll be done. Okay, see that? I wish you could smell it. Okay, so now it's time to puree. Got my pumpkins. I got some of the liquid that comes off when you roast your pumpkins. Got my containers ready. A couple of them. I'm sure I'll need more. And some lids here. And of course, the blender. First thing I'm going to do is pour some of this liquid on the bottom to help the blender get started. And I'm just going to take chunks of pumpkin at a time. Take a few pieces at a time, about that size. You don't want to do this when it's too hot. And if you're impatient like me and it's still kind of warm, that's fine. Just remember to be careful when you open your blender up so you don't get steam burn. So we're going to do a little at a time. Start with that. And we're going to blend. add some more pumpkin pieces. And remember, if you need to add more liquid, you absolutely can. Lid back on. There we go. And we're just going to continue this process until it gets nice and smooth. I recommend blending for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure your puree is nice and smooth. We don't want chunky pies or chunky cakes or chunky breads or whatever you feel like doing with this. You want your puree to be nice and smooth. Okay, so I think I have a nice batch of puree here. Let's take this off so I can show you guys. Look at that. Nice and creamy looking. I'm going to pour this right into my container. Nice and smooth. No chunks. Look at that. Perfect. That's what you want. Nice, smooth puree. Alright, I'm going to keep on going, y'all. Alright, I got the next batch ready. Here we go. Nice and smooth. Gonna pour that in. Look at that. Nice, smooth, creamy texture. Guys, I almost want to make some pumpkin soup. And look how much I still have left, guys. Like, this wasn't even, we didn't even puree half the pumpkin yet. We have got our roasted pumpkin seeds. Nice and seasoned and out of the oven. And the flavor is delicious. So I'm going to let these cool so I can eat them. Alright, y'all, well, that is a wrap. I think we got a lot of good use out of that one pumpkin. Got seeds for roasting. I got seeds for saving. I got pumpkin puree and a lot more pureeing to do. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share. Go over to Instagram, follow me at Urban Girl Gardening. Head over to my Facebook group and follow us there, Urban Girl Gardening. We'd love to have you. We have a lot of fun over there. Learn with me, grow with me. Thank you so much, so much for being here. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.